The movie opens in the crushing depths of the Mariana Trench, the deepest known point of Earth's oceans. Inside a crippled nuclear submarine, chaos reigns. Red emergency lights flash. Metal groans under pressure. Men scream. The hull is failing, and time is running out. Through the noise, Jonas storms through the corridor in a wetsuit, leading a rescue mission. The pressure outside is nearly unbearable, and the sub is moments away from imploding. Jonas shouts orders to his men as they hurry to extract survivors. He reaches the rear chamber, pries the door open, and pulls the last few injured crewmen out. The team escapes to the rescue sub just in time, but Jonas is forced to make a brutal decision: leave behind 2 trapped men to save the others. Seconds later, the submarine explodes behind them. 5 years later, the scene shifts to Zhang Institute, a cutting-edge underwater research facility off the coast of China. A sleek station floats above the ocean surface, but the real action is happening below, deep beneath the waves, in a structure known as the Mana 1. Inside, Dr. Minwei Zhang oversees a scientific team exploring uncharted territory at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. The team believes that the bottom isn't truly the bottom. It may be a layer of hydrogen sulfide hiding an entire ecosystem below. Inside a high-tech submersible, 3 scientists descend through the thick clouds at the trench's base. Among them are Lori, Toshi, and the Wall. They drop below the cloudy layer and emerge into a breathtaking world, an ecosystem filled with glowing creatures, colors that shouldn't exist at these depths, and untouched life. It's a breakthrough. But their celebration is short-lived. As they marvel at the discovery, something huge brushes past the submersible. The lights flicker. The instruments go haywire. Then, a massive force slams into the sub. Up on Mana 1, alarms sound. The comms go dead. The team realizes something's attacking the sub, and it's too deep to reach by conventional means. The only person who's ever done a rescue at that depth is Jonas. But Jonas has quit. He's retired in Thailand, drinking to forget what happened 5 years ago. He lives in a rundown beach shack, dismissed as crazy for claiming he saw a monster in the trench, something no one believed. Still, Dr. Zhang and Mac decide to take the risk. They fly to Thailand, hoping to convince Jonas to help them save the crew before their oxygen runs out. Jonas finally agrees to return after being told that his ex-wife Lori is among those who are trapped beneath the sea. Later, Jonas boards the Mana 1 station, arriving by helicopter. He's greeted with tension from the staff. Some see him as a washed-up has-been, others still believe he lost his mind years ago. But there's no time for debate. Lives are at stake. Jonas studies the telemetry, then suits up. A rescue sub is prepped and launched. He dives deep, descending alone toward the cloud layer. The pressure builds, the water turns black, and then, he breaks through into the hidden world. The place glows eerily. He locates the damaged sub, wedged against a rocky shelf. Its lights are barely flickering. Inside, Lori, Toshi, and the Wall sit quietly, conserving air. As Jonas approaches, they finally glimpse hope. But as Jonas starts attaching the rescue cables, something moves. The sonar begins to scream. The Meg is back. Jonas works quickly, linking the sub to his own craft. But the strain is too much. Something has to give. Toshi, seeing that the sub is too heavy to lift with all of them inside, makes a choice. Quietly, he seals the hatch behind his crewmates and sacrifices himself, triggering a distraction that draws the Meg away. Jonas manages to escape with Lori and the Wall, dragging the damaged sub back toward the surface. Back on Mana 1, the survivors are brought aboard. There's relief, but also heartbreak. Toshi is gone. Lori is bruised and weak but alive. The team mourns the loss, and Jonas is shaken by the memory of leaving someone behind again. As the team studies the footage from the dive, they realize what attacked the sub, a megalodon, a creature believed to have gone extinct over 2 million years ago. The monster they saw was a prehistoric shark, over 70 feet long, somehow alive in the trench's isolated ecosystem. Elsewhere, young Mei Ying wanders alone through the long corridor that runs parallel to the ocean outside. The only sounds are her soft footsteps and the occasional beep of machines humming behind the walls. Suddenly, the monstrous head of the megalodon surges forward, ramming its snout against the window with terrifying force. Elsewhere in the facility, the team hears Mei Ying scream over the comms and takes off running through the corridors. When they reach her, they find her trembling, pointing at the window. Deep tooth impressions scar the glass. It's clear now, the Meg has made it through. The rescue dive through the thermocline created a temporary thermal breach, allowing the prehistoric creature to follow them into the upper ocean. Panic sets in as they realize the truth: the Meg is no longer trapped in its isolated world. It's free, and it's already on the move. Minutes later, they track a large, fast-moving object on sonar, leaving the trench and accelerating into open ocean. It's heading toward the surface, toward civilization. The crew knows they can't let it reach populated waters. Jonas, Suyin, Mac, DJ, and the rest of the team board a research boat and set out into the sea. Hours into their search, they come across a chilling scene: floating wreckage, scattered debris, and blood-stained life vests bobbing on the waves. Bits of torn rafts and luggage are all that remain. It's a massacre. They form a quick plan. If they can tag the creature, they'll be able to track it until they build a specialized cage strong enough to hold it. Jonas volunteers for the job. He swims cautiously as the Meg is in sight. Jonas steadies his arm and fires. The tracker lodges just behind the Meg's fin. For a split second, everything is still. Then the Meg turns and begins charging straight at him. Jonas kicks furiously as the others shout from the deck, powering up the winch to reel him back in. As the shark surges behind him, he's hoisted from the water and pulled to safety just in time. Next comes phase 2. They lower a reinforced glass cage into the water, this time with Suyin inside. She's armed with a long-range spear loaded with a potent chemical sedative, enough to kill even something this size. As she descends, Mac and DJ dump buckets of bloody chum into the water, creating a feeding frenzy. Then the Meg appears again, drawn by the scent. It glides up to the cage, circling. It slams into the structure, then grips it in its jaws and begins to drag it away. Above, chaos erupts. Jonas dives in again, armed and focused. As the cage is pulled deeper and deeper, he catches up to it and breaks inside. Suyin is unconscious. He pulls her out just as the cage gives way and falls into the darkness below. With one arm around her, Jonas swims hard toward the surface. Later, the team shows Suyin Meg. As it's lifeless, their plan worked. DJ and the wall stand near the carcass. They've just saved countless lives. It's a moment of victory. But it doesn't last. From the depths, a second creature explodes out of the water, even larger, more monstrous than the first. It clamps its jaws onto the floating corpse and tears it apart before anyone can react. The ship rocks violently, capsizing as the shockwave sends the entire crew tumbling into the sea. In the chaos, Jonas finds Zhang injured, bleeding, and unconscious. The Meg circles again. Heller sees the creature closing in on their position. Without hesitation, he swims away from the group, drawing its attention. The Meg follows him. Moments later, a massive splash marks the end of his sacrifice. The survivors cling to a lifeboat, stunned and soaked. They board a smaller rescue vessel and push off, determined to regroup and find help. As they sail away, the Meg is still behind them, trailing in the distance like a silent storm. Suddenly, a helicopter sweeps overhead, locking onto the Meg with radar. A sharp ping confirms the target. From above, a tag is launched and hits the creature squarely, forcing the Meg to dive and disappear. Morning, the surviving members of the crew regroup and realize the government will not act fast enough. They decide to hunt the Meg on their own. Jax pinpoints the creature's current path on the sonar. It's moving quickly toward a heavily populated beach. With no time to lose, the group boards their vessel and races across the sea. As they approach the target area, they see hundreds of beachgoers swimming, floating on inflatable toys, completely unaware of the prehistoric death heading straight for them. They hatch a plan. Using a special speaker system, they'll play whale sounds in the water to lure the Meg away. The lure works. The Meg leaves the beach behind and swims toward the bait. In open water, Jonas and Suyin get into their subs and prepare for the confrontation. The Meg appears again, this time surging toward Jonas. He maneuvers fast, dodging the assault, then calls out to Suyin to throw an explosive. She hurls the charge directly toward the creature. It detonates just near its side, injuring the Meg and enraging it. It pivots from her and targets Jonas again. Jonas uses every ounce of speed and cunning, leading the Meg away from the group. As it closes in, he dives lower and spins upward, slashing the underside of the beast with a sharp edge attached to his sub. Desperate and furious, the creature barrels into Jonas' sub, cracking the hull. He narrowly escapes and swims toward the Meg's eye. Gripping a harpoon, Jonas drives it into the creature's massive eye socket. The beast screams as blood clouds the water. Fatally wounded, the Meg begins to sink, but it's not alone. Dozens of normal sharks, great whites, hammerheads, appear from all directions, drawn by the scent of blood. Later, the survivors sit together aboard a quiet yacht. The battle is over. The ocean is still. The water's peaceful once again. Laughter begins to return. Jonas gazes out at the sea, his mind distant but at peace. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe for more notifications. Until next time. See you soon.